before she can even get home from Walgreens, he's calling her on the phone. What did you spend $3 on? And it's like, I can't go get maxi pads. I mean, I don't understand. What do you want? So, what made you want to be her voice?
So I'm a comic of cause, and my cause is to be a voice for those domestic abuse survivors, so that when they're afraid to speak, I'll speak for them. Somebody would have had to identify my body, or somebody would have been putting money on my books, because I'm a firm believer that domestic violence only ends in three ways. Either the victim is dead, the assaulter is dead, or somebody going to jail.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Heartbeat. I'm Erica English. Today, we're sitting down with comedian Tonja D, the Ton of Fun, and we're talking about how she's giving a voice to a silenced domestic violence survivor. Tonja, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
I'm great. Well, thank you for joining us and coming on The Heartbeat today. And first, just tell us who you are and what you do.
I am a comedian. I love doing comedy, and I'm also a 26-year Navy vet and a domestic abuse survivor. So right now at this moment, I'm retired. I've been retired for now 6 years, and I still work with government. But doing comedy and preaching God's word is what I really love to do. And what got me here is my desire to be a voice. So I'm a comic with a cause, and my cause is to be a voice for those domestic abuse survivors, so that when they're afraid to speak, I'll speak for them.
Well, the name of the book that we're talking about today, you sent it to me in the mail because I had not heard of it before, and it's called I'm Not Stupid, I Just. And first of all, let's just talk about how relatable the title of this book is.
Oh, Lord have mercy. After being in a relationship, an abusive relationship for 25 years, I had filed for divorce. And the first thing that came across my mind was like, when you start thinking about everything, you're like, God, that was just stupid. That was just straight stupid. So that just got me. That was a relatable part. And then when I started reading the book, my girlfriend introduced me to it. But when I started reading the book, I was like, dang, this old girl was a fly. She was like a fly in the wall of my life. And everything that she was saying. But the one thing that really got me to it was that she was owning her part of it. That he couldn't have done anything unless she allowed it. That when we say no, when we say I'm tired, when the victim decides, no, I will not do this anymore, that's when it stops. Other side where somebody would have had to identify my body, or somebody would have been putting money on my books, because I'm a firm believer that domestic violence only ends in three ways. Either the victim is dead, the assaulter is dead, or somebody going to jail.
I can't tell you how much this book spoke to me. And just to know that we all know that domestic violence and abuse of any kind, it has several different forms. It's not just physical. It could be mental. It could be emotional. Just kind of talk about that.
Well, that was the one thing in the book that she pointed out. She pointed out so many areas of abuse that takes place. And one significant thing that we often forget about are the children. And we forget about the children because, they're young, they'll get over it. But when we think back on our lives, have we really gotten over the things that happened to us? We never really get over that stuff. And it's something can happen and it'll trigger that. So she addressed all those issues. And I like the fact that she remained raw about it. I like the fact that she kept pounding in on the fact and giving us resources, and the spiritual part of it is what really got me. But when she started focusing on the financial part, oh my God. Because you remember that old Betty Wright song when she was talking about, she like she was Barbara, and she's like, that car you drive, I paid for it.
Yeah.
Barbara, that sounds stupid. Relate back to the subject. I'm not stupid. Barbara, you claim, so you don't look at that as financial abuse, but it is. You spending all your money on the person who can't even spend 5 minutes with you. It's just so many ways that it was so relatable. But look at the cover of this book. See how it's a woman, it's like she's smiling, but the tears are falling down her face. And any woman who's been in domestic violence or abuse knows what it's like to be in public, and you have that image of happiness on your face, but in actuality, you're crying on the inside.
But what you said about financial abuse, and I know so many women, a story comes to mind where, before she can even get home from Walgreens, he's calling her on the phone. What did you spend $3 on? And it's like, I can't go get maxi pads. I mean, I don't understand. What do you want? What made you want to be her voice.
When I heard her story, when she told me that, after her lawyer reviewed it and he told her that she could not use her name, she had to use a pseudonym. Well, how can you promote a book that you wrote, that you put your heart and soul into? How can you promote that book? You can't hear. But I said, you know what? I'll be your voice. Your husband can't get mad at me for telling your story. Domestic violence has no gender. It has no race. There's so many men. I've witnessed a man be abused by his woman, and that thing I couldn't even, as a survivor, I could not stand there. I couldn't take it. And she said to me, I don't want to have a man that's a punk. I said, I said, sweetheart, this is not gonna end well.
Yeah, the website is isabellatheauthor.com, and that's where you can purchase the book. If anyone listening to the show today or watching the show today is a victim of domestic violence, and if you need help, there's a 1-800 number we want you to call. It's 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. And you spoke about the accountability that the author had in the book. And what I don't see in a lot of books, and you see I have my little notes here, she had an area for notes and self-reflection. And so, look, let me turn this before they see too much of my business. But I do like the fact that I was able to face some of the things that that I contributed to, in past relationships. And so I love that. And I'm going to read some of my notes. The first one says, I love that she's allowed space for reflection here, not only for the situation, but also for our own. So much of this in that first chapter is very familiar. She talked about asking God to free her. And I think that's something we commonly pray, Lord, please free me of this situation, please. And God saying no, because number one, we have free will. And he's given that to us. God was waiting on her. It was not the other way around. And I think so many times we lock ourselves in the basement to say, God, please save me. Oh. And it's saying, look, I've given you the tools. Have you now? It's not a joke, but it's a common cliche that people always use when we're asking God to save them from a situation, and then it kind of goes like, okay, I sent you a plane, I sent you a boat, I sent you a helicopter. He's given us so many tools.
So many, and the things about it is, the one thing about, and she talks about it, is how crippling or debilitating fear can be. So imagine that no matter where you are or what you're doing, you just in fear. I mean, I would get calls, what you was doing here. Who's that dude you was sitting around here with lunch with? I'm in the Navy. I had over sometimes 121 people that worked for me. Then I had a whole crew of people that I worked with. So we would go to lunch, we would do different things together. So no matter where I went, I mean, it was like it was always somebody that was watching me.
We forget that before we are bound to a person through a commitment, God had a purpose on our lives that is outside of that. And we have a lot of little girls growing up and their main focus is to get married. That there is something beyond getting married. What is your real purpose in life? What did God put you on this earth to do? And I don't think we focus on that enough with our kids. But the other piece I want to talk about with you is forgiving yourself. This was something, again, you said she was in your business. She was in my business, because that self-forgiveness, it is harder, in my opinion, to forgive yourself than it is for you to forgive someone else, because you have to live with yourself.
You knew how to love. It wasn't your fault that the person that you loved didn't know how to love you back. It wasn't your, God gave you a spirit of giving and a nurturer, all those things that God put inside of you. And a lot of men hear the scripture about being a virtuous woman, but don't know what it is to have a virtuous woman. When I realized that if I can forgive myself, not only forgiving them breaks down walls, but when you forgive yourself, you break down internal walls. And when I see how that girl put that stuff in that book like that, come on, girl. I said, come on, sister, come through. And it was so great to me for me to know that I'm not the only person that struggled with forgiving myself for making bad decisions. We all make bad decisions, but in order for me to move forward, I had to say, recognize what I did and move forward. And that was a great thing for me. She did all of that in that book. That was great for me.
So again, the name of the title is I'm Not Stupid, The Chronicles from an Abusive Relationship, and it's by Isabella. You can purchase it at isabellatheauthor.com. And we're talking about domestic violence today. And again, that hotline number, if you are a domestic violence victim, we're asking you to call 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. Tonja, is there anything else that you want to make sure we mention here today?
If you know of anyone that's in a domestic violence situation, please let somebody know. Let them know, most of all, that they have somebody who listens. Domestic abuse survivors need people to listen and not judge. Judgmental, they're already judging themselves, they're already hurting themselves, and for somebody else on the outside to come in and add to that only makes their situation worse. So know that they need somebody to listen to them. And Erica, I want you to know how grateful I am, and I'm quite sure Isabella is going to be grateful when she sees this, that somebody is listening and somebody took the time to hear me, the comic with a cause, speak about domestic violence and to promote this book.
Thank you for being her mouthpiece, if you will, Tonja, giving a voice to the domestic violence survivor here. Again, I'm Not Stupid, Chronicles from an Abusive Relationship can be purchased on isabellatheauthor.com. Thank you again for being her advocate and being her voice. And thank you guys for tuning into The Heartbeat. We'll see you next time.